Hello, high levelers. Rio Daniels here. And what I want to do is go over some things that I think the people outside of the US might be excited about with different countries. And that is how High Level has integrated multiple languages now inside of their AI features. Now, there have been I'm going to report there's some bugs that I found in some of the problems, like the chat widget and some other things with regards to language that can be a little bit frustrating. So, right now, unless you know these things, it's hard to know what exactly or how to configure this, where to configure this to make your AI and chatbots and things like that just all of a sudden work in different languages. Now, I'll tell you what, let's hop in. Before I get started here, I do want to just simply sit back and just give a plug to me. I'm an affiliate for the GoHighLevel platform. If you're looking to get signed up for High Level, I do have a 30-day link and I offer tons of training and things like that. Also, if you're looking to upgrade to Agency Pro, you can find the link in the video description as well. So let's hop into it. Okay, so before we start hopping into the AI stuff, I just want to simply go over, and this will just take a minute or two, go over some of the other language features inside of High Level. Now, people know that the High Level system can display itself in different languages. We're not talking about AI at this point. We're just simply talking about the GoHighLevel interface. Now, I do want to make sure that you understand there are two language settings that need to be configured or can be configured inside of High Level. One of them is at the agency level. That's the highest level with all the team members. And the other one is at the sub-account level. So keep in mind, those are two places that you can actually set up your different languages. And just to let you know, if you have a language preferred setup at the agency level and you log in with an agency level account, that language will follow you no matter what sub account you go into. So I hope you caught that. So right now I'm actually inside of just my agency view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my settings, and then here you can just simply see profile. And then if you blow this up, you're going to see right here that you can do English, and you can simply change whatever language that you want here. These are all the languages that are currently supported. I know there's some people that want to have other languages, but anyway, this is the language that you can configure at the agency level. And then when you do that, now this language will in turn follow you. If you're logged into the agency account, it will follow you no matter where you go inside of the sub account. So therefore, let's just say you have a client and that client is Spanish. If they have their sub account configured for Spanish, then all of, anybody that logs into that sub account that has a sub account user account will get Spanish as the default language because that's what is configured. So the menu will be Spanish, everything inside there will be converted to Spanish, and so forth, or at least the best that High Level can do. Now, if you are logging in as an agency user, and let's just say you saw mine was English, so if I log in as English and I log into a client that is configured for Spanish, then I will see everything in English because my setting of my English is at the agency level. This overrides the sub-account level for my account. Now, let's hop in here. If you take a look at the sub-account and you go to settings, here you can come over here and realize that these are two areas right over here that you can set the platform language. This right here is going to display it and change any of the settings inside of the local. Again, if you have to be logged into the local sub account for these languages to take place. Because I'm logged in with an agency account, it will always display in English no matter what I choose here. But if you set a language here, then this is the language that gets displayed locally whenever you log into this particular account. You'll see everything in that particular language. So that right there is just, before we get into AI languages, I just want to make sure that you understand that is where you would set the languages for just High Level in general. Now, ultimately, High Level is trying to add more languages. They're trying to add more languages, not only to the default platform, but also to the different AI features. Because when AI first came out, everything was in English. And a lot of people were just like, that's great, but that means I cannot use AI if I don't deal with or work with an English-speaking country. Perfectly fine. So High Level here, probably over the last month or two, has now released some of the foreign languages that can be configured inside of your AI. But you also need to do some other things that I'm going to walk you through. Now, if you already figured this stuff out, great for you. What I'm trying to do is for those people out there that really want to get AI set up, maybe you want to build an AI agency for your clients overseas. What does that entail? What are some of the onboarding things that you're going to need to do? Some customizations and things like that you're going to need to configure in order to get this thing working. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just using one of my sample demo accounts and I'm going to configure the AI system to work in Spanish. Okay. Now I'm not great at Spanish, so I've got the Google Translate tab open in case I need it. But right now I've tried to sit back and convert everything I need to in this presentation already, so we don't have to. But first of all, what we're going to do is focus on the chat widget. We're going to hop in and take a look at it. So we're going to go to settings. Not settings. Sorry about that. We're going to come to sites. We're going to come over to chat widget. Now I'm using the live chat widget for this particular example. So this is the one I'm going to configure. So if I open up live chat widget, and I probably should call, if I were to do this, I would call it a Spanish widget, because you can configure multiple widgets in multiple different languages, but you can only use one of them at a particular funnel or website at any given time. So right now, what I want to show you here is that you've probably already seen this. There's different styles, but here in the welcome message, if you take a look here, all of these welcome messages are in English by default. So you're going to have to take those and convert those over into Spanish so that when the chatbot or the live chat pops up, the messages will all be in Spanish. Now, this isn't done for you. Okay, so you have to build this, you have to customize the bot and put your language in here. It doesn't do this automatically from Highlevel. So you'll need to do that. You'll need to customize the setting here. And we're going to just take a look here. I'm not exactly sure where all the places were, but okay, I'm going to blow this back out. So if we go to the chat window, title and intro, notice that this is what the chat widget looks like over here. So I've already configured the heading and some other things using my good old fashioned Google Translate. And right now, as you'll see over here, we're going to sit back and do title and intro. And again, this might not be 100% accurate. So for all my Spanish viewers, please forgive me on this one here. This is Google Translate. I'm just trying to give this as an example, but you're going to have to go and configure the chat window title, the intro message, all of these things that you see here, even the button text, it's not going to be send because that's English. You need to convert that into the language that you want. Now, again, if you're going to be using live chat, I'm left this as English, and that's just because I don't have this turned on. But if I were to enable some of this live chat messaging, I would need to turn this on as well. And of course, if you're doing this inside of any other widget, any area that has English text, you would basically have to go through and set up for your particular language. So this is one of the things that you're going to need to do for your onboarding. Let me see here. No, that's not it. Yeah, and especially if you're going to be doing branding, I turned the branding off, but if you're going to be doing agency branding, that link at the bottom, you're going to have to customize that as well. Now, here's the one thing that I'm still not sure why it's not 100% working. It's just this language feature. Now, this right here is they give you the language for the bot, but it doesn't really matter what I select here. It just doesn't seem to be working. And I don't know, sometimes Highlevel puts a feature in with the expectation of integrating it later. They just want the user interface to be there already and to be available. But I have not found that this language, for me, at least works in my trial demos and so forth. And that's why I've had to do everything manually. And because we cannot set the chat widget language, we are then going to have to set the language inside of the AI system. So we'll show you how to do that in just a second here. But I'm going to save all these and I'm going to simply click back. So if you're going to be doing this with AI, first of all, we're going to be able to have to do this on the voice AI. Now, I did do another demo where I kind of showed you how to do, I will link the video for the conversation AI where I showed you the multi-language, at least in that. But I didn't really necessarily do this on how to convert this using conversation AI. So this is one of those other things that you need to sit back and know how to configure. It is, from my understanding, it is pretty straightforward and easy. I just want to show you guys how to do it so that if you did need to build a multi-language bot, what are all the key touch points that you need to go to in order to get this thing configured? So right now we're going to go to settings and we're going to go to just the voice AI agents right now. I'm going to sit back and choose as my agent 900. This is the one that just one of the ones that are here. So on here, this is one of the things that they've got currently in beta is the language. So here you can have these languages transformed. So when somebody calls in, the voice that you hear will actually be in the language that you picked. So that's pretty good. That is really good. And keep in mind, this is still in beta. Okay. So right now I've had some issues with this, specifically when you try to switch voices. For instance, I haven't tried English to a different language, but what happens if yours is set to Spanish and then somebody comes in and they say, whatever, how can I help you? Or in Spanish. So if they did do that and you sat back and you answered in English, then the AI bot is smart enough to understand that's in English and then will revert back to the English language and start replying back to you in English. But then somehow it gets locked up. Like somehow in there, that's been my testing that, at least in the beta phase, that it gets locked up and then it doesn't respond on the voice AI. So that is a buggy issue. But also one of the other things that you need to be able to consider here is this right here, your initial message here. So you don't want to have this because this is what the AI is going to read whenever it sits back and answers in Spanish. So right now, if you want to, you're going to have to change this and convert this over to whatever you want it to initially say in whatever language that you want to say it. Now, of course, whenever you do that and you pick the specific language, then you should be good to go. And the voice AI bot will continue to function back and forth and respond and do everything in that particular language. So again, voice AI and conversation AI still have not been integrated together yet. So they're still separate on how they're configured, which is why the language settings here need to be configured on both sides. Because just because you configure the voice AI agent with a different language does not mean that the conversation AI will pick up and start using that. So right now, I'm not going to be dealing with the call, the volume. I'm going to link the other video that I did that shows all this and went over in depth with video, and you can see how it pauses, stuff like that. So I'll do that. But what I really want to do is just focus on the components, what need to be changed, how they need to be changed, and just how this stuff all works together. So again, this is this one here. I'm going to go ahead and take this number off. So the next thing I want to sit back and hop in is the conversation AI. Now, right now, I just want to sit back and I'm going to do because I'm doing live, I always like to do an incognito window because live always bases their live sessions off of session IDs or something like that. But here, if you take a look, this is the chat widget. It's answering in Spanish And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit back and say something in English. Do you build websites? Something pretty straightforward. So right now, if you sit back and take a look, hopefully this thing should respond back in just a second here. And when it responds back, you're going to see it's going to come back in English. So right now, I know I'm hiding a little bit, but notice the language here is English. Okay. Now, how do we get this to sit back and to do Spanish with this? Now, conversation AI needs, I'm going to go ahead and close this. We're going to open it back up again in just a minute, but we're going to go to the conversation AI and we're going to go to this one. This is what I call my DigiGlobal Spanish website bot. So right now, this is going to be the one that I'm using for this. I've got this on autopilot turned on. I do have the channel. We're only monitoring one channel, and that's the live chat just for this demonstration. Now, one of the things I want to show you here is notice anything inside of Highlevel that uses AI is really, in a sense, using ChatGPT as the back end. Now, the good thing about ChatGPT is that it understands languages. So if you give it a question in a certain language, it can reply back to you in that same language, which is very nice. So right now, what you want to do here for at least a conversation AI, you just want to come over here to the bot goals. And this is, again, where you configure. We're not going to go over how to do all this. Again, that's in the video that I'm going to link for you. But here in these custom instructions down here in this area, you just want to come down here to this rules to follow area and just follow the standard prompting here. So if you want to just go to the next one, put like an asterisk, and you can just simply say all, we don't even say customer, all responses should be in the Spanish language. So we'll just set that rule. And that should be a pretty straightforward and easy rule that everything should be done in Spanish. Now, just keep in mind that if you are going to be talking in Spanish, some of these things, this is some of the same thing I use in another demo. Notice right here, I'm going to blow this up. I had actually configured this in another kind of demo. It says, if the user asks to speak to a manager, supervisor, or owner, tell them that you would be happy to connect them, but you would first have to get their phone number first. So this right here are instructions. So if anybody's on the phone and they're talking and they're just like, hey, I want to get to the supervisor, then you can simply give them your phone number and then the workflow could trigger. Just keep in mind, you may need to practice and test this because sometimes you might need to ask this up in a different language. And I didn't go through and do exhaustive testing here on this. But now that we've got that saved and we've got that small change made, we simply come over here and go back to DigiGlobal again, and we'll just reload it. And again, notice that we've got, in this kind of case, we don't have the language set at the chat widget level because again, I haven't had results with that yet, but we have changed the chat widget text so that people would see that it's Spanish. And right now there's really no way that I know of that you can dynamically transform languages. So typically your chatbot would be Spanish here, and your website, of course, would also be Spanish. So people would go to the site, they would see Spanish on the website, and then they would see Spanish on the chat widget, and then they would communicate through Spanish directly into this, the bot, and then it would simply respond. So I'm just going to my little Spanish thing, I'm just going to sit back and say, hola, hello. And right now, at this point, when the bot comes back, it should simply sit back, respond, and just like, hola, ¿qué tienes en mente hoy? So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that's just simply say something like, what can I do for you? Or how can I help you? Again, this is very basic, very simple, but sometimes a lot of people really get stuck up on this thinking that they can't simply make a few changes inside of the conversation AI and inside of chatbots and things like this to simply be able to create a different bot, a different language bot for a website, a client, or something like that. You can definitely do that, and it doesn't take a whole lot to do that. And I haven't seen anybody really put together a video that just shows you a few of these components, a few things that you need to do. And of course, all the other stuff that goes around with conversation AI that we didn't cover, we're just simply focusing on language here. But if you go to the bot training, then obviously the bot training, one of the good things about this is that all of the bot training, I think, me personally, I haven't tested it, probably could still even be in English because ChatGPT can understand both languages and it can translate. So right now, but just as a best practice, if you're going to train your bot, you probably should train it in the Spanish language as well, or whatever language that you're going to put this in. But guys, I just want to sit back and just show you these are some of the cool things that Highlevel have integrated. They're going to continue to grow the different languages. I'm sure they're going to become more powerful. I'm really looking for the day when voice AI and conversation AI can now connect so that voice AI will be able to use the database that you program and learn inside of the conversation AI. It can now use that same feature set, that same database inside of the voice AI, given both of those the same database to work from. So anyway, I hope you learned something. I hope this was useful. If you did, leave me a comment if you want. I would appreciate it. If you have not subscribed, click right now. Subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of cool videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and have a great day. Bye-bye.